20 to enforce peace. NSA wants IPOB. Well, let's begin to look at the details of some of these headlines making the rounds this morning. Well, we kick off with one of the biggest stories from yesterday, and this one is on Daily Trust. You have this: Buhari launches e-Naira, says GDP to rise by 11.9 trillion naira. Let's look at the detail of that story. Similar headline also on Nigerian Tribune that reads: Nigeria's GDP may increase by $29 billion with e-Naira. That's what President Buhari is saying, with the riders gives safety, scalability assurances as Emefiele lists milestones. Well, you could, if you need an explainer about what the e-Naira is about, you could check out that story on Daily Trust. But let's take a look at the details of yesterday's event on Nigerian Tribune. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed the belief that the adoption of the central bank digital currency and its underlying blockchain technology can increase Nigeria's GDP by $29 billion over the next 10 years. Speaking at the official launch of the e-Naira at the Presidential Villa, Abuja on Monday, he also affirmed that the introduction of the e-Naira would enable the government to send direct payments to citizens eligible for specific welfare programs, as well as foster cross-border trade. The President said that alongside digital innovations, CBDCs can foster economic growth through better economic activities, increase remittances, improve financial inclusion, and make monetary policy more effective. A statement issued by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, quoted him as saying, "Let me note that aside from the global trend to create digital currencies, we believe that there are Nigeria's specific benefits that cut across different sectors of and concerns of the economy." Mr. Dairo Olabi, yes. Nigeria, as the Central Bank of Nigeria, has become one of the leading central banks across the world to immediately embrace the blockchain technology. Now, from what you know about the e-Naira, to what extent do you think this would be a benefit, especially to the average man out there on the street?
Well, I've not really studied all the tenets of e-Naira, but I think going by what we saw yesterday, it will reduce the rate at which government is printing notes. It has benefit on the economy because the money you spend on printing of currencies used, then that will be available for other things to be carried out. So I think and they said it will increase the GDP of Nigeria. That will be better. We have been looking for many economic measures in Nigeria to improve our economy, but I think it is one of it.
Okay, well, you have the story on Punch newspaper. Kogi bread seller. There were strong indications on Monday that state governors would soon meet with President Muhammadu Buhari over the federal government's decision to debit local government accounts. The Punch gathered that the governors decided to meet the president after Friday's Federation Account Allocation Committee of $418 million from the local government's account to pay private consultants for the Paris Club reform. It was learnt that the Commissioners of Finance had briefed the governors and that the states would take up the matter with the president last week. A top official of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, who confided in Punch, said the governor's meeting with the president is expected to hold this week when they were informed by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, that deductions from the local government's allocations had started in order to pay the Paris Club consultant. The federal government had in 2006 paid $12 billion to get an $18 billion debt write-off by the Paris Club of international creditors. After realizing that the payment was made directly from the revenue accruing to the entire federation, states and local governments that did not owe the Paris Club, demanded a refund. Some consultants claimed that a percentage of the refund as payment for services some consultants claimed that a percentage of the fund as payment for services they said they rendered to states and local government councils. Now, there have been lots and lots of talks that this payment is sinister and that the federal government should not, the presidency should not sign off on it. But it looks like the Federal Ministry of Finance has already commenced the process of signing off on it and then making these deductions already. Do you think that the governors can prevail on the president to again suspend this payment?
Yeah, my prayer is that they prevail on, they are able to prevail on the federal government, because you see, when anytime you hear federal government is owing 32 trillion naira, it's not the federal government alone. State governments are also borrowing, and those are the things they calculated to become that. So when you are borrowing money, you should know that you have to pay it back. Now, over the few past months now, the various governors in their states, they have been telling us that government has been deducting the money they borrow, and that is why they are not able to pay salary. But now that government has not been doing that since. Now that they want to start deducting it now, what will they tell the workers in their state? What will they tell their citizens in their various states? So at times it is better for you to say the truth and let people know what is happening. Government has not been doing that for the past many months, and we have been telling people that.
But you know that there are different forms of loans and deductions. No. This is just one, which is payment for consultants. You have the budget support. You have a couple of other loans that are also being deducted by the CBN.
Yeah, that is the truth of it. But for the past few months, the government has not been deducting anything. So now that they want to start deducting it, what will happen? So anytime you are borrowing money, you should know you are going to pay back. But my prayer is that they are able to prevail on the federal government. 33 states will not be able to pay salary. You know what that means.
But if the governors say that there is something sinister with the payments of these consultants, as they are, don't you think that the presidency should at least take some time to investigate all over again to find out if truly the consultants are due to be paid about 418?
They have been on this issue for long. I think this issue is in court. It's in court. But I think maybe the federal government could no longer bear it. That is why they want to do it this time around.
Okay, well, let's politics. But first, let's take this one. Tribune, on Nigerian Tribune. Anambra 2021, don't test our will to enforce peace. NSA wants IPOB. And you have the rider, we are determined to proceed with election. That's what the INEC chairman is saying. That headline is self-explanatory. It has all the details you need, but you can check it out again on Nigerian Tribune. Suit as party plans convention. There is anxiety in the ranks of the People's Democratic Party as the Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, is set to hear the appeal filed by the suspended national chairman of the party, Uche Secondos, today. On August 23, 2021, some interested members of the party had instituted a suit at the High Court of Rivers State Port Harcourt Judicial Division, which Secondos and the PDP as defendants. On September 10, 2021, the court delivered its judgment and restrained Secondos from performing the functions of the national chairman of the PDP. The suspended chairman subsequently filed an appeal before the Court of Appeal, seeking an order of injunction restraining the PDP, its officers and representatives from holding or conducting the national convention scheduled for October 30 and 31, that's 2021, or any other date pending the hearing and final determination of the appeal. However, the PDP has continued to insist that its Yetibo SAN told Punch on Monday that the appeal would go on as scheduled. What do you think would happen? PDP going on with its convention and Secondos planning going ahead with a suit that may scuttle all the plans.
I think they should be patient enough to wait till they determine the case in court. If you suspended someone and he has taken you to court and the court has served you with the notice, then court demand that you allow the case to be perfected in the court before you can proceed on this convention.
Now, don't you think that maybe the PDP is eager to off with
that is what I'm saying.
Clean slate?
That is what I'm saying. This is Nigeria where people hardly obey court judgment, and apart from that, even our leaders in Nigeria, in Africa, once they are in power, they can hardly vacate power. You occupy, people put you in a place and they are not saying you are not doing well. Why can't you leave the place honorably? You want to remain there. That is what is happening to us in Africa, and that is why things are not working well. You want to serve people by force. By all means, when people are tired of you, then leave the place honorably. But in Africa, it will never happen. In Europe, someone like that will have resigned.